You know that feeling when the room is full of light, yet inside you something stays dim. Achievements line up like trophies on a shelf, but the soul does not rise to meet them. You lie awake, eyes open in the quiet night, sensing that what you have built is solid, yet somehow incomplete. Your chest tightens, your breath floats high and shallow, your thoughts circle the same cul-de-sacs. You are not broken for noticing this. You are awake, and I see you. There is a wiser way to think, a calmer way to move, a truer way to measure a day. There is a kind of exhaustion that sleep does not touch, a kind of hunger that food does not satisfy, a kind of noise that silence alone cannot quiet. You've tried speed, new projects, new goals, new apps that promise order. You've tried comparison, measuring your steps against someone else's highlight reel. You've tried bargaining with yourself, one more promotion, one more purchase, one more milestone, and the knot in your chest will surely loosen. But the nervous system tells the truth. It keeps the score of what the mind tries to outrun. The heart races, the shoulders rise, the jaw sets. Dopamine delivers a spark, and then the dimness returns. It is not your fault that speed cannot do the work of wisdom. It simply was never designed to. Across centuries, an older voice speaks with a steady hand. Wisdom first, not louder, not faster, deeper, practical, not performative. This is not about religious labels. It is about the architecture of a meaningful life. Solomon, who knew both abundance and emptiness, points us toward a simple order that reclaims the soul. Before you plan, become wise. Before you collect, become aligned. Before you climb, become a steward. The ancient words do not rush you, they reorient you. They invite the mind to settle, the breath to drop low into the belly, the gaze to soften until what matters comes into view again. Emotional neuroscience names what the sages intuited. When we live in permanent urgency, the body stays in defense, the amygdala leads and the prefrontal quiets. We become brilliant at reacting and poor at discerning. Meaning slips through our fingers not because we are incapable, but because our inner instruments are out of tune. When you slow your breathing, when you lengthen your exhale, when you anchor attention in what is true and good, your nervous system shifts from survival to presence. Presence allows perspective. Perspective allows wisdom. Wisdom restores meaning. This is not theory for the few, this is practice for the willing. Your life will have more meaning when you think this way. Not because a sentence can rescue a soul, but because a sentence can open a door to gentler pacing, a door to honest alignment, a door to stewardship that feels like dignity instead of duty. Say it with me, not as a slogan, but as a turning point you can feel in your body. Your life will have more meaning when you think this way. Let the words land, let the shoulders drop, let the jaw release, let the breath lengthen and settle where it belongs. Meaning grows when you adopt a Solomonic mindset. Wisdom before speed, alignment before achievement, stewardship over self-importance. Read that again, slowly. Wisdom before speed, because speed without wisdom is motion without arrival. Alignment before achievement, because achievements misaligned with your design cannot satisfy your desire. Stewardship over self-importance, because what you care for with humility, you can carry with strength. This is the compass that makes sense of the map. This is the inner north that steadies the hand and clears the eye. If there is a hard truth here, it is a gentle one. The life you are building may be beautiful and yet mismeasured. Numbers can count, but they cannot always weigh. Applause can be loud, but it cannot always guide. When the scorecard is external, the soul works overtime to prove what it already doubts. When the scorecard is internal, integrity, generosity, joy, and honest work, the nervous system softens, the mind clears, and the day begins to mean something again. Not because everything is easy, but because everything is ordered. Not because the path is short, but because the path is true. So pause with me for a breath you can feel. Inhale slowly, as if gathering your scattered pieces. Exhale longer, as if returning home. Notice how your body answers the invitation, how the heart rate eases, how the chest loosens, how the mind makes a little more room for wisdom to sit down. This is where the turning happens, not in the noise, but in the quiet recognition that you do not need more pressure. You need better thinking. You do not need another race. You need a trusted compass. You do not need to be harder on yourself. You need to be truer with yourself. Ask yourself softly and without judgment, what if I let wisdom set the pace today? What if alignment, not ambition, chose my next step? What if stewardship, not image, decided what I carry and what I put down? These are not rhetorical questions. They are keys. Keys that open rooms inside you where rest and clarity have been waiting. Keys that unlock a way of moving through time that heals the split between what you know and how you live. There is room here for your story, with its complexities and its scars. Nothing disqualifies you from a wiser life, not detours, not delays, not disappointments. In fact, every detour can become data, every delay can become depth, every disappointment can become discernment when wisdom sits in the first chair. This is how meaning grows, not in dramatic leaps, but in quiet, faithful turns toward what is right and fitting. You do not have to fix everything tonight. You only have to choose your compass. Feel the difference already. The way your breath now matches your intention. The way your shoulders carry less weight for the same load. The way your attention widens enough to notice beauty again. You are not behind. You are here. And here is where wisdom meets you. Keep your hand on the compass. Keep your heart open to alignment. Keep your posture of stewardship. The map will make sense. The steps will follow. And the dim place within will not stay dim for long. Somewhere between the checklist and the quiet of evening, a truth begins to surface. You are capable and you are diligent, yet the direction feels blurred at the edges. Effort stacks up. Results arrive, calendars fill, and still the inner room does not feel furnished. The body knows it first, a small tightening beneath the ribs, a shallow breath that forgets how to settle, eyes that skim the surface of the day and do not quite land. It is not failure. It is a compass asking to be heard before the map unfolds. Maps are wonderful when the destination is already chosen. They promise routes and options and estimated times of arrival. But a compass speaks to something prior to routes. It locates your north. It tells you who you are before it tells you where to go. Without that quiet north, even the best map multiplies detours. The mind races to optimize while the soul remains unmoved. The contrast is exhausting. You can feel it in the jaw, the shoulders, the restless scan for the next tactic. The compass is not louder than the map. It is older, it is wiser, it is patient enough to wait until the heart remembers what matters. There is a different order that brings relief. Wisdom before speed, formation before execution, character before outcome. Say those phrases slowly and notice how your breath changes. In emotional neuroscience, this shift is more than poetry. When purpose is anchored first, the body exits constant alarm, the prefrontal regions regain the chair, and discernment returns like a friend you had not realized you missed. The nervous system softens its watch. Presence becomes possible. And where presence returns, meaning follows, not as a dramatic wave, but as a steady tide that does not withdraw with the moon. Achievement without orientation often feels like running downhill with loose stones underfoot. Momentum is thrilling and a little frightening. You go faster than your balance can hold. The wisdom order steadies that slope. Your inner north becomes the quiet weight in your pocket, the instrument that prevents you from confusing motion with arrival. This is not a call to abandon goals. It is a way of dignifying them. Goals become servants of wisdom rather than masters of your time. You begin to feel the difference between effort that drains and effort that sings. There is a simple filter that clears the view when options crowd the room. 3 questions, plain and human, that realign desire with design. Is it wise? Does it align with my character? Who benefits besides me? When those questions sit at the threshold, decisions carry less tremor. The first question cuts through the glitter of haste. The second binds your intention to the person you are becoming. The third stretches your horizon beyond the narrow circle of self, which paradoxically expands your joy. Notice how even imagining these questions slows the pulse. The compass has a voice again. Underneath the drive to move quickly is often a quiet fear of standing still. Stillness can feel like absence of worth, but the compass reframes stillness as calibration. A sailor does not resent the moment spent reading the needle. A builder does not scoff at the time given to plumb and level. These are not delays. They are the beginning of straight lines and safe harbors. Your life deserves that same honor. Wisdom before speed, alignment before achievement, stewardship over self-importance. Repetition here is not redundancy. It is rhythm for the heart to learn by. Perhaps you recognize the pattern that has haunted your most productive seasons. You set 3 goals, you reach 2, the third eludes you, and a shadow spreads across the 2 you did reach. The map told you how to get there. The compass would have told you why you were going and whether there was another destination, less impressive on paper and more faithful to your design. When the why is clear, the nervous system relaxes its vigilance. Energy that once fueled worry begins to fuel craft. Attention, once split between proving and performing, returns to creating and contributing. There is also tenderness in this order. It does not accuse you for the years spent optimizing without orienting. It blesses those years for what they taught and gathers their data without shame. Every detour becomes wisdom when read by a faithful compass. You start to see the through line in your own story. The moments that look like waste begin to look like training. The skills you dismissed as incidental show their depth. The relationships that endured become signposts pointing home. Meaning grows quietly in this soil. It does not need spectacle. It needs truth and time. If you listen closely, you can already hear a softer cadence wanting to guide the day. It sounds like patience without passivity. It sounds like courage without noise. It sounds like choosing to be a certain kind of person before choosing to chase a certain kind of prize. Ask the question that draws the line on the page in the right direction. If your compass were set to wisdom today, which goal would change first? Let the answer arrive at the pace of a deep breath. Let it stand without argument. Let it be simple enough to live and sturdy enough to build upon. What happens next is not dramatic from the outside, yet from the inside, it is everything. The body eases. The mind clears, the soul consents. You have not abandoned your ambitions, you have crowned them with meaning. You have not discarded your maps, you have given them a north that will keep them honest. And as that inner needle steadies, you will notice the room looking different. The same room you woke up in, the same tasks waiting on the desk. The difference is you, aligned and unhurried, carrying a compass that makes the map a friend again. There is a kind of weariness that does not announce itself with yawns. It hides inside success. It appears after a full day of doing what you are good at while quietly wondering why your heart feels absent. Passion once felt like fire in the chest. Lately it flickers like a candle in a draft. You keep adding fuel and the flame keeps shrinking. This is not laziness and it is not ingratitude. It is the soul asking for alignment. Desire is real, powerful, necessary, but desire without design becomes a storm that spends itself in every direction and nourishes nothing. Many of us were taught to follow passion as if it were a perfect compass. Passion does matter. It brings color and warmth. Yet passion alone can send a capable person into constant restarts. The energy is intense at the beginning, thin in the middle, and brittle at the end. Emotional neuroscience gives language to this cycle. Novelty spikes reward systems, while the deeper networks that govern meaning and perseverance stay underfed. The result is a life of bright starts and dim continuations. The result is burnout with a smile. The result is the quiet grief of a person who knows they are capable of more true contribution than their calendar reveals. Design is the unglamorous word that rescues passion from exhaustion. Design asks what you are shaped to carry and where that shape naturally fits. It looks at strengths that keep appearing, even when you are not trying to be strategic. It listens to the people who know you well and hear music in you that you treat as background noise. It studies the kind of problem that wakes your curiosity rather than your panic. When desire serves design, passion settles into a rhythm that outlasts the first applause. The nervous system recognizes the fit and begins to conserve rather than leak. Muscles untie, focus deepens, time gathers rather than scatters. Imagine the plumb line in a builder's hand. It does not rush and it does not argue. It simply reveals whether a wall is true. Alignment is that simple and that uncompromising. When your schedule hangs from your design, the day stands straight. When your commitments lean away from your design, the day will wobble, no matter how much enthusiasm you pour into it. The body knows the difference. Your shoulders recognize the load that belongs to you. Your breath recognizes the pace that carries you rather than drags you. Your mind recognizes the pattern that lets you enter flow without fear that the floor will drop out. There is tenderness in honoring design. It releases you from the pressure to be passionate about everything. It releases you from the jealousy that grows when comparison is constant and personal fit is ignored. It releases you from the myth that the most meaningful path must always be the most glamorous one. The brain does not thrive on glamour, it thrives on coherence. Coherence is the felt sense that your values, your gifts, and your daily actions are shaking hands in the same room. When coherence rises, self-regulation becomes easier, not because you are trying harder, but because the friction is lower. Decisions carry less static. Recovery requires less wrestling. Alignment before achievement is not a slogan, it is an inner economy. Misaligned achievement is expensive. It costs focus, it costs peace. It costs the ability to be present with the people you love when your day technically ends. Aligned achievement multiplies. It multiplies energy because it harvests the grain of who you are rather than grinding against it. It multiplies contribution because it solves problems you are actually built to solve. It multiplies joy because the act of doing becomes a kind of prayer. You feel it in the way time passes. You leave a task and do not feel the need to prove you finished it. The work itself tells you so. There is courage in letting design set the terms. It may ask you to adjust a goal that looks impressive but leaves you thin. It may ask you to choose a smaller audience that receives your work with depth over a larger one that applauds without connection. It may ask you to return to skills you dismissed as obvious because they came easily. Ease is not always a sign of low value. Ease can be the signature of design. The oak does not strain to be wood. The river does not strain to be water. When you move with your grain, effort remains, but strain lessens. What remains feels worthy of your strength. The language of stewardship appears here with clarity. Stewardship treats your life as a trust, your gifts as tools, and your opportunities as fields to cultivate. Stewardship is not smaller than ambition. It is wiser than ambition. It chooses impact that lasts over impact that trends. It chooses work that builds people over work that inflates image. The nervous system responds to stewardship with steadiness. Fight or flight quiets, the breath travels further. The body reads safety in the simple fact that your daily actions do not betray your deeper convictions. Safety is not laziness. Safety is the soil where brave work grows. You might recognize how burnout sneaks in when desire drags design behind it like luggage. The day starts with a rush of feeling and ends with a room full of tasks that do not belong to your true shape. The next day begins with guilt, a poor teacher that tries to motivate by threat. This loop can last for years for intelligent and generous people. Breaking it does not require a dramatic exit. It requires a truthful naming of who you are and what you are for. It requires the humble freedom to let certain doors close so that the right ones open fully. In that honesty, the nervous system hears a message it can trust. The message is simple. We are going to live as one person in one life. There is a question that clears the fog when the heart is tired of pretending. Where am I forcing passion that ignores my design? The answer often arrives as a memory. You remember the hour that flew by and left you fuller. You remember the problem that made you curious rather than anxious. You remember the kind of person who energizes your best work. Follow those memories the way a traveler follows a river back to its source. They are not random, they are coordinates. They draw a line from what the world asked of you to what you were born to give. In this light, success becomes simpler. It looks like craft improved with patience. It looks like relationships deepened by honesty. It looks like contribution measured by the good that remains when the spotlight moves on. Alignment before achievement. Alignment before achievement. Alignment before achievement. Let the repetition sink until it feels less like advice and more like relief. You will not lose yourself by honoring your design. You will find the self that work was meant to serve, and in that finding, desire will stop burning you and start warming you. The flame will steady, the room will glow, the day will carry the weight of meaning it was always capable of holding. There are days when the clock seems to push from behind, when every minute carries a small undertow of urgency, when even good work feels like a race you did not choose to run. The body reads the pressure before the mind names it. Shoulders lift, eyes dart, breath climbs. It is easy to confuse this rush with purpose because the world rewards speed with applause. Yet the soul knows another language. It listens for seasons. It trusts timing. It understands that meaning grows in cycles that cannot be bullied. There is a rhythm that holds all living things together. Tides know it. Fields know it. The human nervous system knows it, even when the calendar refuses. When we live as if everything is harvest all the time, the inner soil thins. When we honor the quiet order of sowing and tending and only then reaping, the mind becomes clear and the heart remembers how to wait without fear. There is a season. The words do not scold. They soothe. They tell the truth that hurry cannot make something ready that has not had time to become itself. Anxiety rises when life is treated like a sprint with no finish line. The brain grows vigilant. The body imagines danger where there is only delay. Decisions shrink to what can be done quickly rather than what can be done well. Seasons soften that edge. They teach patience without passivity. They remind us that a vine does not apologize for winter and does not skip spring just to impress the summer. Fruit is honest. It appears when roots are deep and weather has taken its turn and the hidden work is complete. Sometimes the hardest part of honoring a season is admitting which one we are in. The heart wants the heat of harvest while the soil is still taking seed. The mind wants proof while the process is still gathering. The will wants shortcuts, and the soul knows that shortcuts steal what makes the destination worth reaching. The vineyard image helps here. Rows that look empty hold life at work beneath the surface. Pruning looks like loss and is actually care. Waiting looks like inaction and is actually trust. Emotional life changes in the presence of right timing. When you stop demanding that today carry the weight of tomorrow, the breath drops lower. Muscles release what they were clenching. Focus returns because focus no longer has to fight the fantasy that everything must be finished at once. The nervous system shifts out of alarm and into steadiness. In steadiness, wisdom speaks more clearly. In wisdom, meaning starts to collect in small, satisfying ways that last longer than a moment. There is dignity in slow building. There is beauty in repeating the simple inputs that create strength. The craft refined one honest hour at a time. The relationship nourished by listening before answers. The inner life deepened by a steady return to truths that do not age. Seasons over speed, seasons over speed, seasons over speed. The repetition is medicine for a culture that confuses urgency with importance. It retrains the heart to recognize value by depth rather than by noise. Misalignment often arrives disguised as ambition. It insists that faster is always better and that arrival is owed to those who refuse to rest. Wisdom tells a kinder story. Rest is not retreat when it belongs to the season that requires it. Pace is not weakness when it protects the integrity of the work. You are not less devoted because you refuse to rush what must grow. You are more devoted because you are willing to protect what is becoming from what is merely loud. Consider the cost of forcing. It drains the joy from the very things you care about. It fractures attention into fragments that never quite reassemble at the end of the day. It teaches the body to distrust your promises because hope keeps getting borrowed against tomorrow. Honor heals that fracture. It keeps your word with your own nervous system. It allows delight to return because effort is no longer drenched in panic. The same tasks begin to feel different. The same hours carry more light. Every meaningful path contains a stretch that looks like nothing is happening. The surface is quiet. The world is watching other people bloom. In those hours, character becomes architecture. Roots move where eyes cannot follow. Depth forms. Convictions are tested and strengthened. When harvest finally arrives, the fruit carries a gravity that spectacle cannot imitate. The beauty is not in how quickly it appeared. The beauty is in how surely it remains. There is a simple sentence that clears the air when speed tries to take the wheel again. What must I honor in this season instead of forcing the next one? Let the answer be honest enough to steady you and humble enough to shape your choices. And when the old urgency returns, as it often does, remember the vineyard. Remember the rows that look empty and are full of life. Remember the patience that protects what you love. Remember that the truest growth does not shout. It ripens. There is a certain loneliness that can live even in a crowded day. It appears when decisions pile up like unopened letters, and every choice seems to carry hidden consequences. The mind loops familiar paths. The body grows tense from carrying the weight in private. You are strong and you are capable, yet isolation makes even simple steps feel heavier. Meaning thins when wisdom has no echo. Strength stretches farther when shared. The heart is built for resonance. One voice steadies, two voices clarify, several voices create a harmony that reveals what a single note could not. Solomon cherished the power of many counselors because he understood how perspective multiplies protection. A wise conversation pulls you out of mental fog and back into truthful air. It trims the edges of fear and gives shape to the half-formed thought that has been knocking behind your ribs. It does not drown your agency. It grounds it. There is a quiet science beneath this ancient practice. When trust is present, the body reads safety in a friend's eyes and breath. The watchful parts of the brain loosen their grip. The regions that hold reasoning and foresight begin to light again. You feel it as a softening in the jaw and a long exhale you did not know you were holding. It is easier to weigh motives. It is easier to separate what you want from what you fear. In that steadier state, truth becomes easier to tell and wisdom becomes easier to hear. Wise counsel is not a chorus that flatters. It is a circle that loves you enough to tell the truth you almost told yourself. It is a lamp handed to you when your hands are full. It is a mirror that returns your face to you without distortion. Sometimes counsel sounds like a story that makes sense of your own. Sometimes it sounds like a pause that gives your conscience volume. Sometimes it sounds like laughter that breaks the illusion that you are alone in this kind of uncertainty. Picture a simple table with 3 chairs. One belongs to someone who has walked longer roads and carries weathered kindness. One belongs to a peer who remembers your commitments and will not let you shrink them or inflate them. One belongs to a learner who asks the fresh question that clears the fog. The arrangement is ordinary and powerful. It protects you from the blind spots that hide in both pride and fear. It protects you from the temptation to make solitary vows that collapse in private. Isolation often masquerades as maturity. It whispers that real adults carry it all without a tremor. It promises control and delivers exhaustion. Counsel breaks that spell. It restores the human scale of decision-making. It returns you to the truth that wisdom is a shared good. You can feel the difference in your nervous system when the next step is not a secret you must guard, but a path you can describe to people who want your life to flourish. There is humility in seeking guidance, And humility is not weakness. Humility is alignment with reality. It allows you to bring both your clarity and your confusion to the same table. It allows love to edit fear without erasing courage. It allows hope to grow realistic and strong. This posture softens the inner critic and invites the inner guide to speak with a steadier voice. The result is not dependence. The result is discernment. Some choices carry more power than they admit. A career door that looks small at first. A relationship boundary that seems simple and is not. A financial decision that appears neutral and leans hard toward a story you do not want to live. Counsel is leverage here. A few trusted voices can create enough distance from the rush to let the deeper truth emerge. The best plans often appear as you speak them aloud. The unreal parts fall away in the light. The resilient parts remain. Meaning grows when you do not walk alone. It grows when your life is witnessed and your values are remembered in company. It grows when you can say, "I am unsure," and hear a voice answer, "I am with you while we find the way." Lamps on a path. That is the picture. Not one blinding beam, but several steady lights making a safe arc through the dark. You still take the steps yourself. You take them with sight. There is a question that opens the door to this kind of strength. Who will I invite into my next big decision, and when? Sit with the names that rise. Notice the sense of relief that follows the honest answer. Notice how your breath deepens when a choice is no longer a private storm, but a shared search for what is good and fitting. In that shared search, counsel becomes more than advice. It becomes a way of belonging to wisdom. There is a quiet hollow that numbers cannot fill. The promotion arrives and the applause rings, yet the echo fades faster than expected. The graph rises and the bank account thickens, yet the chest carries the same tightness it carried last year. The feed delivers likes, and the mind delivers doubt. The body keeps a different score. It notices the way sleep slips. It notices the way kindness thins when urgency climbs. It notices the way joy becomes a guest who leaves early. Living by external metrics can look like success from a distance and feel like erosion up close. The belief that numbers prove meaning has a certain shine. It is simple to track and easy to compare, but the soul is not a spreadsheet. The human nervous system does not settle because a dashboard glows green. It settles when life aligns with truth. It settles when motives are clean and actions fit the person you hope to become. It settles when the day's effort serves what is good beyond the self. There is freedom in admitting this. There is relief in saying aloud that quantity without quality becomes noise. The heart cannot be bribed by volume. It listens for weight. Solomon measures with different scales. Integrity is a measure. Generosity is a measure. Joy in honest labor is a measure. These are not soft ideals. They are hard currency in the realm where meaning holds. Integrity gathers all the scattered parts of a person and makes them one. Words and deeds match. Values and choices shake hands. Generosity lifts the eyes and widens the horizon beyond self-concern. Joy in labor restores dignity to effort and turns repetition into craft. When these measures rise, the nervous system reads safety and the mind releases its constant watch for proof. There is a felt difference between chasing approval and honoring values. Approval asks for constant performance. Values ask for steady presence. Approval demands speed and visibility. Values invite depth and accuracy. Approval leaves you calculating the angle of every move. Values leave you free to build with both hands. Over time, one path frays the inner fabric and the other weaves it stronger. The same tasks can live on either path. The difference is the scorecard you carry into them. Some people succeed by the public numbers and feel smaller. Others carry modest numbers and feel rooted. The reason is not mystery, it is measurement. A week that looks thin on output may be heavy with integrity. A project that trends slow may be thick with generosity. A day that seems ordinary may hold real joy in well-done work. The outer record rarely captures this weight. The inner record knows it immediately. Shoulders lower, breath deepens, attention grows steady. This is the body's way of saying that what matters is being measured. The old language of key performance indicators has its place, yet it often neglects the person doing the performing. A wiser lens exists. Call them key values checks. Integrity kept, generosity practiced, craft improved. These are not slogans, they are living questions. They cut through distraction because they are simple and honest. They quiet perfectionism because they honor progress over drama. They honor the person over the performance. When these checks are present, even a difficult day carries a kind of gladness that cannot be faked. Picture a speedometer snapping upward on an empty road. The needle moves and nothing meaningful changes. Now picture a compass in a steady hand. North is quiet and unwavering. The life built on external rush lives by the first instrument. The life built on inner truth lives by the second. The heart prefers the compass. The mind prefers both when the compass leads and the speedometer follows. Pace matters. Direction matters more. Depth gives pace its purpose, and only then does speed deserve its praise. The image of scales helps when choices feel equal in appearance and unequal in essence. One option pays more and costs your presence. Another pays less and multiplies your integrity. One choice flatters the ego and erodes the soul. Another choice strengthens the soul and humbles the ego. The scales of the heart are honest. They are not swayed by audience size or trend cycles. They lean toward what remains after the lights go down. They lean toward what you can carry into sleep without argument. There is tenderness for the part of you that has worked hard for measurements that do not satisfy. That part learned to survive in a culture that counts loudly. It learned to translate worth into numbers because numbers get noticed. It can unlearn without shame. It can learn a new fluency, where character and contribution weigh more than clicks. This unlearning is not a loss of ambition. It is a restoration of ambition to its rightful object. Not applause, not image, not speed. The rightful object is goodness that endures. Meaning gathers in the small, honest acts hidden from public view. The text returned with patience. The apology given before it was demanded. The piece of work refined after the deadline because your name lives there and your name matters to you. These moments do not ring in the market and they ring in the soul. They redraw the map of success from the inside. They tell the nervous system that you are a trustworthy steward of your own life. In that trust, energy returns, creativity returns, peace returns like tide meeting shore. There is a question that clarifies the weak when noise tries to take the pen. If the week were judged by character and contribution, how would it score? Let the answer arrive without defense. Let it be a teacher rather than a critic. If the score is low, the next week can change form. If the score is strong, the next week can deepen rather than drift. This is how a life begins to feel full without needing to be loud. This is how work becomes worship and numbers take their proper place as witnesses rather than rulers. There are days that change because 10 quiet minutes tilt the whole hour, not a dramatic overhaul, a gentle order. The room is the same and you are the same, yet something inside stands taller and softer at once. The body feels it first. Breath settles lower, the jaw loosens, the gaze becomes kind. What follows is a simple rhythm that honors wisdom before speed and asks the heart to speak without being rushed. The first minute belongs to orientation, not pressure, orientation. 3 questions take their seats like old friends, and the room grows clear. Is it wise? Does it align with my character? Who benefits besides me? The words land without fanfare, and the mind remembers what matters. The nervous system reads safety in the coherence of these questions. The watchful parts relax. The discerning parts take the chair again. The next space belongs to design. A page is present, or a quiet memory is enough. One strength that keeps appearing comes into focus. One story of trusted feedback rises and places a hand on your shoulder. One kind of problem begins to glow at the edges because your curiosity keeps walking toward it. Desire shakes hands with design, and a small click of recognition travels through the chest. The fit is felt, the wheel catches. A season then speaks. Not every field blooms at once. One place to sow appears without strain. Inputs emerge that are honest and small and real. Water rather than thunder. Light rather than fireworks. Another place reveals its hurry, and you recognize the old temptation to force. No forcing today. Honor is the word that replaces pressure. The vineyard image returns with quiet strength. Roots before fruit. Depth before display. The table widens to include counsel. Names appear without prompting. The older voice whose kindness carries weather, the peer who remembers your vows, the learner whose questions open windows. Their presence steadies the air even in imagination. The next decision becomes a kind sentence rather than a private storm. You can almost hear the lamp glass click as flame steadies. You are not alone in finding the path that fits. A final turn measures what matters. Integrity kept is a small yes felt behind the ribs. Generosity practiced is the widening of the room. Joy in honest work is the warmth that lingers after effort. These are not trophies. They are weights on true scales. The week begins to score itself from the inside. The body hears the verdict and releases what it was holding. Shoulders lower, attention sharpens. Peace takes its seat without asking permission. 10 minutes can become a doorway. On the far side of that doorway, the same tasks wait, but they meet a different presence. Orientation gives shape to energy. Design reduces waste. Seasons protect hope from hurry. Counsel multiplies sight. Inner measures give the day its gravity. None of this demands perfection. All of it invites coherence. Coherence is mercy for a tired mind. Coherence is strength for a generous heart. The routine becomes familiar over time. The repetition does not dull. Repetition deepens. Wisdom before speed. Alignment before achievement. Stewardship over self-importance. The phrases return like a pulse you can trust. The nervous system learns them the way a musician learns time. The hands start to move in rhythm without counting. The work starts to carry meaning without noise. There is tenderness here for the self that once tried to earn worth by racing. There is honor here for the self that now chooses a truer cadence. The difference is visible in small ways. A conversation ends with more presence than it began. A task is shaped by care rather than fear. An interruption is not the enemy of value because value no longer hangs on volume. The compass leads. The map serves. The day gains weight. When the 10 minutes close, nothing explodes and everything shifts. The room does not grow brighter. Your seeing does. The plan does not grow longer. Your purpose does. You step into ordinary time with an uncommon steadiness. The needle holds. The lamps along the path hold. The scales of the heart hold. Meaning gathers the way morning gathers light. Quiet, certain, enough. There are endings that feel like beginnings wearing quieter clothes. This is one of them. The room has not changed, yet the air holds a different weight. A steadier kindness. You can sense it in the way thought moves with less friction and the way the heart no longer rushes to defend itself. Meaning has a sound, and it is not loud. It is the soft confirmation that your inner instruments are tuning to the same note. What once scattered now gathers. What once strained now aligns. Across the ages, a simple order keeps returning like a shoreline that refuses to move. Wisdom before speed. Alignment before achievement. Stewardship over self-importance. The words do not dazzle. They endure. They have outlived fashions and they outlast fatigue. They hold because they are true to how a human life is built. When Solomon speaks of understanding, he does not flatter ambition. He gives it a spine. He reminds us that abundance without insight collapses under its own weight, while simple work done with integrity grows large in ways the eye cannot quickly count. The body recognizes truth before the mind finishes its sentence. Shoulders loosen when motives are clean. Breath deepens when desire serves design. The nervous system quiets when timing is honored instead of bullied. This is not magic. It is coherence. Coherence is the felt experience of living as one person in one life. It widens attention until gratitude can be seen again. It steadies attention until craft can mature. It shelters attention until counsel can reach it without shouting. You have watched images rise in these pages, a compass in a steady hand, a plumb line revealing what stands true, a vineyard that trusts its season, lamps along a path that would be unsafe in the dark alone, scales that weigh the unseen and find it heavy with worth. These are not decorations for a tired spirit. They are working tools. They remind the soul that meaning is not hunted on the horizon. Meaning is built by the way you measure a day, and the way a day measures you back. There is tenderness here for every version of you that ran without a north. The version that chased because chasing was praised. The version that hid weariness behind performance and called it strength. The version that learned to speak in numbers because numbers were the language that seemed to matter. All of those versions belong to the same story, and the story is not over. Wisdom gathers them without accusation. Wisdom weaves them into a quieter courage. Some truths arrive as thunder. Others arrive as a door that swings open on silent hinges. The door is open now. On the other side is not a different life, but a truer way of living this one. Less noise, more depth, less proving, more presence, less spectacle, more substance. The map remains useful, and it will finally serve the compass rather than argue with it. The work remains demanding, and it will finally honor your design rather than drain it. The people you love remain human, and your steadier heart will meet them with a patience that does not keep score. Meaning is not a prize handed to the fastest. Meaning is the harvest of wisdom practiced in ordinary time. It tastes like clean motives and quiet generosity. It feels like dignity under pressure. It looks like joy that does not need permission. It leaves traces that persist when applause fades and trends move on. It makes a home inside you where rest is not laziness and effort is not punishment. It asks for nothing dramatic and gives you everything you thought the drama would give. A single question can hold the whole turn in its hands. What would your life look like if wisdom, not speed, became the measure of a meaningful day? Let the answer be simple enough to live and deep enough to last. Let it stay with you the way a melody stays after the music ends. And when the room grows quiet again, notice how the quiet no longer feels like absence. It feels like presence. It feels like enough. Morning arrives with the same light across the same walls, and yet the air feels newly faithful. There is a steadiness that does not ask for attention. Thought moves without scraping. The heart carries less armor and more weight in the best sense of the word. Meaning gathers as if it had been waiting just beyond the noise and now crosses the room without hurry. Nothing dramatic has happened and everything important has shifted. Work begins and the hands remember their craft. The map still lies open, but the compass rests within reach. Decisions carry the sound of clean water. The anxious edge that once bent every choice toward speed has softened into patience. The body reads the change before language arrives. Breath sits low and unforced. Shoulders settle. Eyes take in detail without strain. This is not indulgence. This is alignment, doing what alignment does. Conversations sound different when wisdom leads. There is more listening and less defending. Corrections land without humiliation. Praise feels like acknowledgement rather than fuel for the next sprint. The nervous system recognizes safety and coherence and grants access to the deeper rooms of memory and imagination. Ideas come without coercion. Creativity rises without the weight of proving. The day returns dignity to effort, and effort returns tenderness to the day. Seasons begin to show themselves in ordinary hours. The work that is ready to be planted reveals honest inputs. The work that is ready to be pruned reveals honest limits. The vine does not apologize for winter, and the orchard does not boast in summer. Each phase owns its beauty and its demand. Discernment grows quiet and sure. Waiting is no longer empty. It becomes a kind of trust that strengthens the spine while unclenching the jaw. Counsel feels less like a rescue and more like an inheritance. The older voice carries weather and kindness. The peer keeps the line true. The learner asks the question that freshens the room. The table is not a performance. It is a place where wisdom circulates and fear loses volume. You walk away carrying the same responsibility, but the weight distributes across steadier beams. The path is still yours. It is no longer lonely, Measurement returns to its honest home. Integrity becomes a daily texture rather than a slogan. Generosity widens the view of what success means and who shares in it. Joy in labor reappears in small and stubborn ways that do not ask permission from moods. Numbers still matter, and they resume their place as witnesses rather than rulers. The inner scales do their quiet work. The verdict arrives without spectacle and leaves behind peace. There is mercy for the versions of you that ran without a north. They did what they knew to do. They kept the lights on. They learned the terrain. Now the learning becomes wisdom. The fragments begin to speak to one another. The quick skill that once lived apart from deeper purpose finally finds its home. The story you tell yourself about your own life turns from survival to stewardship. The tone changes, the pace changes. The outcome changes by becoming less fragile. Relationships breathe differently when inner pressure eases. Presence grows wider. Gratitude becomes granular and specific. Small moments regain their honest size. A sentence lands and heals more than it costs. A silence holds without being heavy. The heart learns the cadence of enough and offers it as shelter to others. Influence becomes quieter and more persuasive. It trades spectacle for substance and finds that substance travels farther. Evenings arrive with a kind of completion that is not bound to volume. The desk is not empty and the soul is not empty either. Fatigue feels clean rather than frantic. Rest begins to mean restoration rather than collapse. The mind stops rehearsing a trial that never starts. The body trusts that tomorrow will have its own light. The night holds, the room holds, you hold. A single question lingers like a gentle bell at the edge of the day. What would change if this calm became the measure by which you recognize a meaningful life? The answer does not need to be loud. It needs to be true. And when truth arrives, it does what it has always done. It sets things in order. It sets the person in the center of their own life again. It turns the long quiet after into the long quiet within.